Welcome to the darkness, where nightmares slither into reality and the whispers in the shadows are far too real. Do you ever wake up and feel like something is watching, waiting? Tonight, we open the door to the unknown. The night air felt suffocatingly still. Cynthia awoke with a start, but something was wrong. Her husband was beside her, but was it really him? You should have kept the door closed. Welcome to the Twisted Nightmares Chronicles, where your nightmares take shape. Sleep tight, if you can. The night air felt suffocatingly still. I sat up in bed, my breath hitching, my chest tight. The apartment was silent, yet I was certain a noise had jolted me awake. A low, unnatural hum vibrating through the walls. My eyes darted toward the door, the darkness pressing against its edges like it was seeping in. My skin prickled. Something was wrong. John was beside me, sleeping soundly, unaware. I reached for him, my fingers brushing his arm, and flinched. His skin was ice cold. "John?" My voice came out as a whisper, shaking. No response. I nudged him harder. Nothing. My heart pounded, each beat sharp and painful. I shook him harder, my breath coming in shallow bursts. Then he inhaled, a slow, wheezing breath. His eyes fluttered open, unfocused, glazed. "Cynthia?" His voice sounded wrong, strained, like something was caught in his throat. I let out a shaky breath, my muscles relaxing slightly. "Jesus, John, you scared me." His eyes locked onto mine, and a chill crept down my spine. His pupils were unnaturally large, consuming almost all of his irises. He blinked slowly, his lips parting slightly, but no words came out. Then, just as I reached for his hand, he turned over and went back to sleep, as if nothing had happened. I swallowed hard, trying to shake off the unease curling in my stomach. Maybe he was just groggy, half awake. But that noise, that hum, I could still hear it, faint but persistent. I slid out of bed, my bare feet meeting the cold floor, and padded toward the bedroom door. Every step felt heavier, like invisible hands were dragging me back. I reached for the doorknob. Something moved in the reflection of the mirror on my dresser. I spun around so fast my vision blurred. The mirror showed only my own wide-eyed reflection staring back. But for a split second, no, I wasn't imagining it. Something else had been behind me. Something tall, gaunt, watching. My stomach twisted violently. I wanted to wake John again, but something inside me screamed not to. The fear was visceral, deep-rooted. I turned back to the door and pressed my ear against it. The humming was louder now. It was coming from the hallway. I cracked the door open. Darkness. My breath caught. The hallway should have been dimly lit by the street lamp outside, but there was nothing. Just pitch-black emptiness stretching beyond the threshold. It felt unnatural, like the dark wasn't just the absence of light. It was something alive, something waiting. My pulse pounded in my ears. A single step forward, into the waiting dark. A hand grabbed my wrist. I screamed, yanking away. But when I turned, John was sitting up in bed, groggy and alarmed. "Cynthia? What the hell is going on?" I looked back at the hallway. The darkness was gone. The street lamp cast its usual pale glow, revealing nothing but the familiar apartment beyond. No endless void, no ominous hum. I was shaking. I thought I heard something, I whispered. My voice barely sounded like mine. John sighed, rubbing his face. "Babe, you're scaring me. Come back to bed." I hesitated. The fear hadn't left me, but the logical part of my brain, the one desperately grasping for a rational explanation, told me it was just a nightmare. Sleep paralysis, maybe. A hallucination brought on by exhaustion. I nodded slowly and crawled back into bed, curling into John's warmth, trying to slow my racing heart. He kissed my forehead, murmuring something comforting. I closed my eyes. Then he whispered, "You should have kept the door closed." My blood turned to ice. I looked up at him, my breath caught in my throat. His face was wrong, stretched too tight, his mouth hovering between a smile and something else. Something inhuman. His pupils were gone, just endless black pools. I tried to move, to scream, but he pressed a finger to my lips, his too long nail grazing my skin. "Shh," he whispered, tilting his head. "You don't want to wake him up." A slow, creeping realization settled in my gut. My real husband was still asleep. Then the John in front of me grinned, his jaw unhinging wider than it should have. And from deep inside the apartment, the humming returned. Louder, ravenous. The last thing I saw before the world was swallowed whole was a set of gleaming, inhuman teeth closing around me. You made it through the darkness, this time. But nightmares never truly end. They only wait. Was it just a story? Or did something follow you? You've been watching the Twisted Nightmares Chronicles. But don't get too comfortable. Go on, click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell before the darkness finds you first. Sweet dreams, if you dare to sleep.